Hello, everybody. Here it is, February 6, 2020. Hard to believe. Very flooding, very wet day today. Flooding all over the place. Angela just had to go and pick up Dylan because they dismissed schools because of all the rain.
Hi,
And
Lisa.
there were
Hey, Nicole and Tammy and Robert.
15 turkeys right out the back of my house today, grooming themselves and getting dry and doing their wings and stuff.
They're going to have to do it again, I'm afraid.
2 toms, and then some younger males, and then a bunch of females. But the toms are getting, if you guys see a lot of wild turkeys around your house, you know how they get when it's getting close to mating time. They just turn their heads, even when they don't have all their plumage out, their heads are they look like phantoms. They're blue and just iridescent. Absolutely beautiful.
Take some pictures and send me. I'd like to see them.
It'd be hard, but if I tried to get out there with the camera, they'd fly away. But I mean, they're right outside the kitchen door. Hey, Bam Bam.
Bam Bam. My kitty cat, Bam
The mascot.
It just suddenly became very interested in what's going on after being there totally quiet and nappish.
Okay, it's Metaphysical Matters, like I said, for February 6, 2020. Hard to believe. You sent me an email on Sunday that said that date was a palindrome. And palindrome is something that reads the same from left to right or from right to left. So 02, 02, 20. And that is
02 to 012.
Yeah, that is really rare.
Yeah, I think the last time it happened was in not 900 years ago.
Wow.
If I'm not mistaken.
Wow. With the twos or just overall?
Overall.
Wow. Okay, what's the theme for this week so far that you've seen?
I'm seeing Aquarians, Cancers, and Leos. And Leo, as you know or may not know, is the polar opposite of Aquarius. So it's kind of interesting, and it's a balancer thing, I guess, that they're seeing changes. And again, I'm not an astrologer. I just know what I see and what I've learned from simple observation over the past almost 28 years now. Wow. So, but anyway, I think that's kind of interesting. And then Cancers, haven't seen any of them in a while, but they're starting to roll in, and they are usually about hidden emotion. So I think when I see those people, then it might be time for other people, because I think the people I see kind of are a harbinger of what the energy that's coming that affects the rest of us, maybe. Okay, and so evidently hidden emotions. And I think the thing to watch out for is hidden anxieties. So y'all going to have to be careful that you don't let simple random anxieties or whatever take hold and, make you afraid or worry or whatever. You just got to be really careful about balance, emotional balance. So beware of hidden anxieties. There's enough stuff going around in the world to make you feel anxious. It really is. But you got to be, you got to get your balance and not let your fear outweigh your hope. Yeah.
Well, here it is, just Thursday, and already there have been so many kind of explosive news stories or riveting news stories of this week that is, I can't even hardly remember what happened on Monday. It's just crazy. It's one thing after the other. And from everything that I feel and that I've read, other people say that they feel, it's going to be like that this whole year. So just
it is.
Be ready.
I've told you it's going to be a bumpy ride, and there it is. But at the same time, look hopeful. Look for good things to happen. Maybe one of those bumps is going to kick us over to something good. Maybe you're going to win the lottery. I'd win if I'd buy a card, or a game. I'm too tight to spring for it. Otherwise, I'd win.
Let me ask you this: I know you've had people who are really not well versed in the way psychic abilities work. Ask you, well, if you're psychic, how come you can't just go buy a winning lottery ticket?
Know.
Why can't you?
I don't know. Ask my dad. He does it. He goes gambling. And he can tell you the cards that's going to get turned over. He can tell you the dice that's going to get turned over. I can do that to a certain degree, but my anxiety kicks in and my feelings of unworthiness kick in. And so I am like lucky opposite. You do not want to ask. And somebody said, if you tell me the numbers, I'll share it with you. If I knew the numbers, I'd share it myself. I retired. That's why I'm not winning. I'd retired years ago. I have moments. Now I have moments. But mostly, I mean, like cards, I have somebody turn them over, playing cards like I know. And about 3 or 4 in, though, then it's like it leaves. But I guess maybe it's just not in my in the cards for me to be seeing stuff in that way. I did one time for one of my clients, lovely person, one of my Asian clients, and she had me give her some numbers, and I gave her some numbers. And then I was at a restaurant down in Hickory, and she comes and she slaps the newspaper down in front of me and points. And I'm looking, and I'm saying, "That's the numbers. That's it. Yeah, for Virginia." So she was not happy with me. So whatever.
She's asking too much. I mean, you got the numbers right. She didn't ask about the state, right?
That's right. Now Judy Leopard just said hello from Kansas.
You got a gift from Judy.
That's what I was going to say. From the middle of Kansas, she finds a picture, and I've got it on the door. I actually have it screwed onto the door. See if I got a picture of it in here so I can show you everybody. She found. Can this be seen? There it is. There you go. She found this sign in the middle of Kansas at a thrift store and ended up getting it for me.
Isn't that funny?
And sent it to me because of us talking about that manatee experience before. But now that leads to something I want to talk to you about.
All right, go for it.
Here's something that I have said before, that the universe gives us signs. Sometimes our guides give us signs. And I think most of the time they're given to us and they hit us in our unconscious mind and we're not even aware of it anyway. But we know to follow certain, we get hunches, we get ideas, or we just randomly end up in the right place at the right time to learn stuff or to be where we need to be. But sometimes, I think the universe gives us, we're not listening. So it gives us more obvious signs, okay? Well, here's the thing. Like I told you before, I was making decisions about moving, and I knew full well I wasn't supposed to, but I kept kind of push it. Then I ended up getting a ticket for unsafe movement because I didn't listen. And it was a long time ago. And I'll try to listen, okay? Now, Blanca, hang on. I'm going to get back to you. I got you a whole thing here I got coming for you. But anyway, when we were going down there, it's my daughter's idea to do the thing with the manatees. But yeah, I wanted to. And a lot of times, I talk about spirit animals and how they represent us and all this kind of stuff, right? So I'm thinking, well, maybe a manatee's supposed to be for me, but I'm thinking, nah, not really, because, that's Jamie's the one that's driving that. I mean, I love them and everything, but I've never really felt that. And then I'm thinking, okay, Ange, you tell other people if an animal comes your way and it gets your attention such a way, maybe that's your spirit animal, and that you can look it up, just Google it. What does it mean? And see if that resonates with you. But, I didn't, because I'm thinking, maybe I'll look it up someday. Well, then I go and I have my wonderful experience. I'm the only one that it chose to look at because it was probably deeply worried about me and my bad behavior, falling off the boat and everything.
It was a doctor manatee.
It was a concerned manatee. But anyway, I'm thinking about it. I think, well, now, maybe that's another, thing that I need to be thinking. Maybe it is. I need to look it up and see if it resonates with me, blah, blah, blah. And I didn't do it. And then I'm thinking, well, maybe if something happens, I'll get a sign that it's mine. I need to have a sign to know if it's really mine, because I don't want to be fooling myself. And what do I get in the mail?
A sign.
A literal sign. And it was not painful like that ticket was. So the universe will answer you. You just have to be listening. And I looked it up, and it ain't nothing but something sweet and nice and good. It's it's about being kind and good and helpful to others.
Well, now, what about in the time, not too terribly long ago, when we couldn't just Google something? I mean,
you had to go to the library.
But that information about what an animal might mean to you has got to be inside of you somewhere, or it wouldn't present.
That's what I've already said 1,000 times. You may not consciously know, but your soul knows. However, that's why a lot of times it's going to go by unnoticed. But sometimes it does get kicked to the foreground of your mind, and you might actually need to have that reassurance in the front of your brain that tells you, yes, this is happening, this is real, and you don't have to analyze it away. You don't have to feel unworthy about it. Look, we got words here that somebody else wrote that don't even know you that says what you might already be thinking. Now, that's just my take. You can do what you want to, but that's the way I felt, and I was really grateful that she allowed the universe to work through her to tell me that maybe I have something nice to think about. Because,
cool.
I tend to often not. And yes, that is my dishwasher in the background. I'm sorry. James Moore is so good because he likes to load the dishwasher because he doesn't feel like I do it properly. But he always does it before Kim gets here because we do not like her to see how we really live. So we have to always have the hum of the dishwasher in the background.
I wonder how come every time I come to the dishwasher, and it's right here. It's
That's
right here.
That's why, because we just do.
Hey, let's go back to what Blanca's writing about. That looked really interesting. Hey, Michelle and Benny and Jean. Gosh, we've got lots of folks. Thank you so much.
Okay, let me tell you, Shannon, I'm going to use her actual name that I know her by, had a very interesting story that commented in golly, man. Shannon's always got something to say about something. Let me just put it that way. She's my daughter's friend, when they were teenagers, and now she's, our friend. But she's always got something going on somewhere, and she lives like half a mile from me. Actually, I think it's 7/8 of a mile from me. Don't ask me why I know that. But anyway, she's got stuff going on up there all the time, okay? And lately, she's saying that she's got some Bigfoot stuff going on up there. She sent me a recording, and I'm going to scroll back here and see if she put that part. She's got a recording of what she's hearing, and then she did some research and asked some people. Y'all just scroll up there and find where she said at Blanca, okay?
Right there it is.
Okay. And she says that other people are hearing it, and that
howling screams.
Yeah, and automatically I think maybe, yeah, you did send it to me this morning. But other people, and she says that people have been seeing it. She contacted a group. Is that right, Blanca? You contacted a group.
The Bigfoot group.
The Bigfoot group.
Yeah. Bigfoot 911.
And they said that there were sightings out there where she lives.
Where is this?
Right
approximately.
Right across the road from Shelby's restaurant.
Like right by the bypass?
Yeah, by
here in Marion.
And if you want to ever see something beautiful, go up there to her house and look behind it at the mountains. It is unbelievably beautiful there. Nothing but mountains.
Be a similar view to what you get from the visitor center.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's right, like, just a little, actually, where Shelby's is. You go past, it's actually, she's about a mile from here to Shelby's 7. You go a little bit past Shelby's, and right there it is up on the hill. And she says she's hearing that. And she said the thing she sent me sounded like there's this video going around, too, of how these scientists have done these studies on a mummy. I don't know if you've seen it or not. It's on Facebook somewhere, I'm sure, of on YouTube, whatever. And, according to the way they do things to know what this mummy sounded like when he was alive. And the thing you're all excited to hear what this voice is, it goes like, I'm all excited. Like, what did he sound like? So anyway, but I swear when I first heard the thing she sent me, I thought, but anyway, I'm thinking coyotes, but that was nothing like a coyote. Nothing. So, Bigfoot people, come on to Marion. It is our town mascot for a reason, but I had never heard of it being around here, which is within walking distance of old Angie's house, which makes perfect sense. If there's going to be something paranormal, it's going to come to Angela's house.
So do you feel like it is Bigfoot?
I do. And I never feel that about anything. And I actually did about this. I actually did. Even if it's, I don't know. I do. I don't know.
Wow. And that's right here in town.
Mile from my house.
Okay.
She's got recordings. There's history that we knew nothing. She knew nothing about. Look, she said they had an encounter near there too. So live and learn. I didn't know nothing about that. I always put Bigfoot out there on Vane Mountain and down there at Lake James, maybe.
We're up on number 9.
Number 9. I'm telling you, that's the place.
It sounded like an angry growl, deep, not manlike.
It sounded like, bah. I'm telling you, it's what it sounded
like. Like a rabid sheep.
A rabid sheep goat, a very, very distraught goat. Which there are goats, Shannon. I hope now you didn't record a goat, because I hear that goat over there all the time. Go ahead.
Okay. I'll let you choose. You sent me a few texts, and some of them are really, really interesting.
You can tell that story right now, by the way, about them fairies.
That's
right in the letter.
That was the choice I was going to give you. Either you want to jump into the text, or you want to pick up on the story about where you note for the spirits.
If I don't tell that, and we promised it for 2 weeks, this is very boring to you people. Go ahead and just take a nap and come back when I'm done, okay? But I don't know why I was talking about this, and I'm sorry. I feel like I'm being very boring to y'all today. Yeah, Michelle, you can ask anything. Hey, we may not answer it, but you can certainly ask.
Yeah, and hopefully it'll be something that has relevance for everybody.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah. You might not want to ask your personal business out there for the whole world to see, but anyway, send me a text, Shannon, about that sound, and I'll play it on my phone. But anyway, what I was going to tell you was when I was living over there in Clinchfield, and I was going through all grades of misery and this, that, and the other, and I could feel this energy. And I know that there was all kinds of stories about that place with other people seeing stuff. So it's not just me. And, but I was feeling kind of traumatic. But anyway, back then I would tape things for people very often for sessions, the old cassette players. And I had one, and people would come in and I would have a new tape, or they'd bring a new tape, and all of a sudden it wouldn't work proper. They were saying that and this is different tapes, different tape players, okay, including my own. And they were saying that it was a race. They get home and it wasn't even be on there. Well, anyway, lady come and I put the tape in there, and it made this weird sound, this sort of like static, and it was new. It was a brand new tape I actually had laying on the mantle. And she said, "That's it," because she had known some of the other people who had tried to record. She said, "That's the sound. That's the sound we're all getting." Anyway, I tell you that for a reason. Set that aside. Well, right after that, I went and I wrote a note, and I just said some stuff to the fairy people that lived there that I just felt like was out there. I don't even remember what I said now, to be honest. And if I did, I wouldn't tell you. But it was personal stuff, and I was asking help, understanding. I don't know. And I took that note out there one night, and I laid under that very haunted tree, which is still there. And yes, it's haunted. I got witnesses. But anyway, laid it out there. Well, anyway, then that lady, actually, it was after that, this lady comes, says, "That's it. That's the sound. That's the sound everybody's getting on their tape." Well, we got to listen, and we could hear a woman's voice. We could hear a woman's voice underneath it. And the more we listened, the clearer it got. And I have other people, including Shannon, who heard this and erased it, which was weird in itself. Put it in my friend's car. She heard it. The thing is, the more we did it, the louder it got and the clearer it got. It's like a hidden voice, female voice, and it just threw that weird staticky, and it kept getting bigger and bigger. And it said, "Angela, leave us messages." Now that happened. And what was weird, it was,
Wow.
I had left him a message. And when I first heard it, it sounded like my voice. And I thought, did I use this for a tape recorder? Back then we had the tape machines, right?
Sure.
I didn't have that kind of machine. And then I thought, no. I thought maybe it's laying around and I forgot. I just opened it out of the wrapper. It was brand new. Anyway, that happened. And I just feel like I wanted to tell you about it for no good reason, except I wanted to. Except then I was letting Shannon listen to it in my house. And then she was like, listen on things. And then it was this weird energy. She just got like that, like the face, and it takes her little finger and erased it. She didn't know why she did it. I don't even know if she remembers it. She can tell us if she remembers it, but that happened. Wow. That's a story there. Have that.
Shannon says that you should have on your phone that recording now.
Okay. And Michelle says,
she hears singing it.
I have other people that do that too. I think now I will tell you this, a neurologist will tell you, I don't have it yet, Shannon. Well, I guess I'm going to, if it's on Messenger, I don't have it. I don't have it on here. I don't have it. So resend it. It's not on Messenger or anything yet. Send it to my text. But yeah, when neurologists will tell you when you're half awake, half asleep, that your brain will do all kinds of things. And that's why a lot of times they will dismiss outright anything that happens. Like, me hearing stuff. If this gets cut off, because I'm seeing it looks a little wobbly, because we are having flooding and weather issues today. So hang in there. We'll sign right back on. Okay. Just let me put that out there.
But the thing about scientists or whoever looking at brain activity, and that makes them dismiss your experience. They just assume that the brain activity is causing your experience. They don't even consider that it might be the other way around.
Exactly. And what I was going to say was, and I'm going to address that, as Thomas Jefferson actually said when he heard about meteors coming in, scientists at that time in history reported that. And he said, I had rather believe that two good men of science would lie than to believe that rocks could fall from the heavens. And, that makes a lot of sense. It's so much easier to say that it's just your brain doing weird things than it is to say that maybe, and this is, I think brains can do weird things, something wrong. I think that's actually accurate. However, having said that, it also makes you more susceptible because you are, as I've told you 100 times, in the in-between state. That's when you're psychically powerful. So you're going to be able to hear a lot of things. A lot of people report hearing voices. Some people see faces coming at them. I don't know why, to be honest. Maybe it's your past lives. Maybe it's spirit guides. Maybe it's just random.
I see faces I don't know kind of drifting by.
Yeah, a lot of people will see it like that, and a lot of people will just one after the other. But maybe there's ask yourself, what do you think it is? And then again, music. Now, I'm going to tell you another story, but it's short, don't worry. When I was with James, and we hadn't been married that long, and we were laying in that bed over in Clinchville, we fixing to go to sleep, and I'm having my head down on the pillow, and I'm starting to hear what sounded like she's talking about, like operatic, what you imagine angels sound like singing, but that, but it's like a choir, it's like a big, wasn't like one voice, right? And I'm hearing this, and I'm saying, James, do you hear that? Do you hear that? And he's not hearing it. And then, get this, he lays over and puts his ear on my arm, and he hears it through my body.
That's weird.
Like I'm an amplifier. I mean, he knew he was like doing what he was hearing. He was imitating what he was hearing. That happened. So I think that my message to Michelle is, I do believe we are in between states when we're half asleep, and we are going to be able to randomly pick up energies, and maybe it is, the heaven energy that you're talking about. It could be exactly that.
I would say, I'm going to put this evidence forward to say that it is. When my mom was at hospice, the last week that she was alive, she had a lot of that in and out kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And she told me one time when she came back to consciousness that she was hearing that heavenly chorus sound. She said it's the kind of singing, she said, you've never heard it before in your life. She said it's so beautiful. And she also saw colors that she had never seen before that she could not describe.
That's interesting. When what's his name died, the guy that did what's his Apple guy, when he was dying, you know what he said, don't you? Wow. Which is another text I sent you, by the way, about something to do with that, about dying. This is random.
About Steve Jobs?
No, about dying.
Oh, yes.
Here's what I was going to tell you about that.
Okay.
Are you okay? Am I boring you to death? I feel like I'm being boring today.
No, absolutely not.
Well, this happened. I read this thing.
Wait a minute, first, before you go on, Judy hears spirits yell her name.
I've had a lot of people do that. I have had that happen too. And I do think, and other people have heard that somebody calling somebody else's name. So that does not, again, psychically powerful when you're in between states, which is where I tell people they want to get when they're trying to make a change in their life. You tend to fall asleep. Sometimes it's hard, but when you're in that state, you might want to kind of just imagine yourself being the way you wish you were. Or you might want to talk to someone like, please give me the job. Or, I need to get the property that I'm still looking for, or whatever. Okay. But I was reading this thing that, and it's the back door to the soul time too, where you could get in that state and you're like telling somebody, I love you. But again, if you do it too much, you'll bounce back. You feel it bounce back too. Can it get any hotter in here? I'm about to mortally die. It must be a hot flash. Give me that. So anyway, I was reading this thing, and it's this guy talking about how he had been technically dead 11 minutes or something like that, which is a crazy long time to be technically dead. But anyway, he was talking about how it felt, that he felt himself like just being, oh, okay, well, there it is, and whatever else he experienced. I don't remember. But the thing I'm bringing it up is it validated something I had happen many years ago. Do not freak out, people. This is many years ago. It's like 20 years ago. Minding my own business, and my heart, I was typing. My heart did this crazy fast thing, which it still does. Everybody's does on occasion. But it quit for a split second. And my whole body went completely numb. I mean, it was gone. Okay. I could still hear. Everything went black. And I slumped over. Bam, it went back up, and I'm fine. But the weird thing is, and this is why I'm bringing it up, because when I read what this guy experienced, it validated me. And I needed that, because I think I had taken my experience and thought, nah, it's just craziness. But when I read somebody else, it made me realize, no, I need to hear that, because my experience was valid, and maybe I can help other people, okay, with it. And that is what he felt. And this is what I'm supposed to tell you, that what you may feel is a sense of, the first thing I did when I bounced back up, first thought, I don't have to be afraid of dying anymore. I don't have to be afraid. And that's the whole point of this story, because maybe somebody needs to hear it. I didn't have to be afraid. It was such a burden taken off me. It's such a relief. it was like, and also I had known, my papa had died like that. And I thought it just made me feel, better about that, about my cousin who passed away very young doing that. And I thought, I felt like what that man felt like, oh, well, that's it. Here it is. I'm dying now. Felt totally peaceful. I didn't feel one bit panicked. It was just like, oh, okay, well, that's it now. Now, when I came back and I get my, energy, my brain back and everything, I think, I almost died. That was kind of scary, now on this state. But while it was happening, it was like, oh, okay, that's fine. It didn't hurt. I was so happy because I thought, it doesn't hurt. It doesn't hurt. I'm supposed to tell you that, so there, have that.
Wow. Just to kind of catch up on some of the comments, we're talking about people hearing voices. Gabrielle hears their own voice. Okay, now
everybody hears mine.
I've heard your voice. I've heard my own voice. I have seen myself in a different place than where I was.
Now that's interesting.
Yeah, but I think I've heard my own voice too. And then
you should talk about that doppelganger. That is very interesting. I've never had that happen.
Well, we lived in Hendersonville. I was down at the bottom of the hill, and I just glanced up, and I saw a figure stood up on top of the hill. And after I did a double take, I realized it was me.
Now that is freaky. I've heard somebody else saying, a little girl I know, being a young woman, actually, she was actually in jail at the time, and somebody saw her while knowing, because this was a law enforcement person, knowing she was in jail, saw her standing on the courthouse sill. Wow. So I think you must have seen your doppelganger, which I have a fear of seeing. I have a fear of that.
It could be like an alternate timeline.
It could be a million things.
Yeah.
I do not know. That is above my pay grade. And I see Miss Joanne Howell's joined. That makes me so happy. She's the reason I do this, because she was the person, because I'm slow, that didn't realize that maybe I really am that different. And I used to work for them at the pharmacy, and she said that, what you are, you're psychic. And because she said it, and it's somebody I held in very high regard, right? And I felt like if she knew that, then maybe it was true. So anyway.
Well, we all thank you, Joanne. Okay, Angie had a weird thing happen too. She said she had to talk out loud last night because something was pushing open the bedroom door right before she went to bed, which is that must have been terrifying. I think last night was a weird night. My cats are acting weird. They all were acting like they were sick. They all ate different stuff, but they were all sick. They're acting very strange. Last night just felt weird. And it could have just been this crazy weather system coming in.
It could be but earth energy too.
Weather is energy.
Weather's energy, and I also think that there's a lot of stuff going on underground right now too. It's funny, my dogs were like acting freaked out late this morning actually, and I don't know what that was about. I mean, they actually followed me to the bathroom, and they never do that. So I don't know. So I'm assuming that if your animals are acting weird, they're picking up something, and maybe pay attention.
What do you think that might have been that was pushing Angie's bedroom door open?
See, I'm afraid, I hate to say this, but I'm going to. I had the same thing happen here last night.
Paula's dog was acting weird.
Well, there you go. I was going to the bathroom or something. It's either last night or this morning one, and that door has a spring on it, but it's not that strong. And it was like right when it's getting ready to close, it gave a little shove, and I thought, did I imagine that? And I didn't say nothing. But now that she brought it up, I'm going to say, I don't know what it was. I think you had a visitor. I don't think it was harmful, or you would be harmed. I think that right now, because everything that's changes going on in your life, you're going to be more psychically susceptible to whatever random things may be going on in your world. So, and I think, you are a medium, by the way, which probably means you're a lightning rod to have all kinds of things just be attracted to you. So I think you had some sort of experience with I'm going to say, and I'm, not in a zone. So, but my guess and my feel is it's probably a passing spirit saying, I'm here, pay attention.
Well, Linda says her dogs have been acting weird for the last 3 days.
It goes in bunches. It was so sad. A couple of weeks ago, on my Facebook feed, I've never seen so many people losing pets. It was everybody and their brother's pet was passing all at once, it seemed like. These things, good, bad, ugly, and indifferent, it all seems to come in cycles. It goes around and around. If one has it, there's going to be 10.
Okay, let's move on down the list of some of your texts that you got. And this one was really, really interesting to me. So I want to jump right into this one. You said that people who say they are abductees by aliens often, if not usually, have had a traumatic experience at age 11.
Yeah, I read that somewhere. I have no idea where. I also read this book. when I was about 35 years old, and the name of it was Real Magic. And it's not the one by the psychologist, which I also read. But you know that book, I cannot find it, cannot find anything about it. It disappeared into my closet and never saw it again. I got it to the library, never got a notice from the library. It disappeared.
That's Real Magic.
I swear to you, that has bothered me because I looked it up trying to find it. I don't know. It's got to be out there. I read it, but now sometimes I wonder, did I read it? That was the magic closet. Anyway.
Okay, so
what are we talking about? Oh yeah, I read that somewhere. Then I got to noticing that age 11 or the year you maybe turn 12, it seems like so many people, and according to Chinese astrology, that would also be when your Chinese sign comes back around, and that age 12, 24, 30, every 12 years. Okay. And that's usually a big year for that. But having said that, an inordinate amount of people who claim to have alien abduction experiences report having something weird, big, traumatic, or just big happening. Like at me, I moved in with my dad at that time. Dylan my kid has had a traumatic experience, which is personal, this recently. And, he's fine, but it's a big deal for him. And, I've got in my James, he had a big deal thing. He had to leave Old Fort and move to Marion when he was that age. And it was very traumatic for him because he had to change schools and kind of threw his whole life, to be honest, in the crapper, to be honest. So I'm wondering, and I don't know that I've been alien abducted, or I suspect James is an alien. Dylan, when he was really little, used to say, I looked out my window and there was a flying saucer out there. And he was like talking like it was just a normal thing that people see and do. But, I don't know. I mean, did feel like I got sucked up to the ceiling one time, but that's another thing.
So do you think that the trauma, be it just, moving, or when I say just, of course, that's very traumatic for a kid, that creates that opening, that same opening where spiritual attachments can get through too? I have to say, I don't know. Guess what? People don't know everything. Usually if I don't know, I make it up and go with it. I don't know. I don't know. That's as good an answer as any. But I think it's interesting. If you feel that you have had that kind of contact, otherworldly contact, look back in your mind and see if anything big happened at that time. And just for your amusement, see. That's really, really, really interesting. And that traumatic experience is not the traumatic experience of the abduction. It's separate. No, it kind of sets the stage. It's either that, or maybe it was a trigger for something to happen. Maybe it was like that's the time that they woke up, and that was a trigger event. Maybe woke up something inside. I don't know. I think it could be a lot of things that's beyond my pay grade, as I already said. But I just thought it was very intriguing that the three of us seem to have had something happen. And I mean, I don't know. I think it's an awakening. This just in. I think it's got to do with something concerning awakening. At that age. Yeah. That's so interesting. And Melinda says that her life completely changed at that time at the age of 11. All righty. That's really next. Okay, well, let's just look at a few more of your texts. And this one, I know exactly what this is that you were talking about, this little technique that you texted me. Okay. Did you tell me that? No, I did not. I was really happy that you knew about this too. The queen inside me says for time to go slow. Yeah, and I don't know. Maybe you were the one that taught it to me. No, I have no idea where I got this. Because I probably thought you would have poo-pooed it, so I wouldn't say it. No, I don't always do that. Anyway, I see our connection is not real good. Again, if we get cut off, I'm talking slow because it's dragging. Get in between the pixels there. We'll probably come back via phone and see if it does any better, okay? What was we talking about? Oh, yeah. If you want to bend time, or at least your perception of time, you can get in a meditative kind of state and say, the queen or king inside me says that time will go slow or the time will go faster. And I've been kind of working on that, and it's bizarre how well it's working. It really is. I just read it on some blog, and the way this person explained it is you just kind of get quiet and then start thinking about your third eye. And once you feel a sensation in your third eye or some kind of movement, then you can send this energy out. In my case, when I first used it, I had an acupuncture appointment, and I was running late. So right before I left the house, I did the whole, okay, got the feeling, I feel it. And then I said, the queen arrives at her appointment in plenty of time. Okay, I took off. every light in town I caught green all the way there.
That's awesome.
And I got to acupuncture about 3 minutes early when I really should have been about 7 minutes late.
That's crazy. And I believe I believe you 100%. I believe there's all kinds of
works.
stuff that can happen.
I taught it to Ellen, and she uses it at work, and she says it really does work for her.
It's been working for me as far as my perception of time. I don't know if I'm actually creating any rift like you evidently were doing.
But
I'll take it.
But what else is there besides our perception?
Well, there you go. But I'll take, I really thought it was shocking to me that the first time I did it. And I guess I have to be careful not to wish my life away because I get impatient, and I want things to hurry up. But yeah, so I thought I would share it. And evidently she's already been wanting to share that. So be aware that you may have more ability to deal with time and your perception and the actual maybe reality of changing, tweaking by getting into that meditative state. Or with me, I don't even do the meditative state. I just kind of
you're there anyway.
I don't know where I am.
You got power that the rest of us don't have.
I don't know where I am.
I just wanted to jump to this. Sharon sent this to you a few days ago. I wanted to know if you have any thoughts on the loud booms that people hear. On the coast, they're referred to as Seneca guns, but Sharon has heard them here as well in Western North Carolina. The last time being in 2011, right after they moved to Spindale in Rutherford County. And her neighbor heard it as well because they both went outside to check it out. What are your thoughts on the booms?
I think that is crazy interesting, and I think it's got to do with the earth energies, and I feel like it's got to do with the earth energies being under attack by the assault that we have put on this planet, and also those other mechanical sounds that's cropping up all over that, which I know sound can travel, and I know it can do weird things in the right atmospheric conditions, but it seems to be much more than that. And I feel like, the authorities can always tell us what keeps us calm. We've got to keep the people calm. They can't be letting us be thinking about stuff that would make us, lose all sense of reality and cause the stock market to crash or something. So, but I think it's the earth crying out. I do. And some of it maybe it's always happened, but some of this new stuff, I don't think it's natural. I don't think it's normal. I don't think it's just sound traveling. It's just too weird.
Well, when you said they'll say they'll tell us whatever they need to, so we'll stay calm. I have to jump over here real quick. And Beth, I saw your question, and we're going to jump right back to that. But the mystery drones that we were talking about a couple weeks ago in Colorado, that everybody's reporting these drones, and law enforcement was out observing them and looking for them. Well, that's been solved. You all can calm down now because all that was a case of mass hysteria,
It's always mass hysteria,
according to the authorities. And you've got these. The sergeant of the Morgan County Sheriff's Department in Colorado, and he was talking about how many he saw, how many reports they had, 4 to 10 drones at a time. They had law enforcement officers following them. The drones were white and with red flashing lights, et cetera, all these details, but never fear.
What are you going to trust? The authorities or your lying eyes?
Mass hysteria, just a case of mass hysteria.
In Rendlesham Forest incident, which, England is fixing to release all their UFOs, people online, and all their UFO data, rather, online. And I think you can get it anyway in written form, but now we can look it up. And Rendlesham Forest, people, that you want to look into that. That is one of the best documented, that you've got to look it up, people. If you haven't already. Rendlesham Forest.
I think you've told us that before.
Oh my God, it's too much. You go to your computers as soon as you get off of here and just research if you don't.
Rendlesham Forest.
And it's a big deal thing with highly credible people, and it's going to be in UFO files probably. But anyway, all these highly intelligent people over there, people in the military, people who saw things close up, they come out about, I don't know, a couple of years ago, the authorities, whoever they are, to say that it was just a couple of cop cars that was parked on the other side of the woods, flashing their blue and red lights. Evidently, they had two, kind of cars that they were flashing these lights on and playing a big old trick. And that caused all them people to think this. And just walk up and slap somebody in the face with that nonsense. And I'll tell you something else. This made me angry. One of the astronauts was on, I happened to be flipping past some show on Fox or something, and I heard this astronaut talking to that bunch on there, and they were disrespectful to him. That man was. He was calling by his first name instead of Mr. or captain or whatever he was. I can't remember now because I am losing my memory. And he was saying that he is from Roswell, and he wanted the people to know, because he promised these people in Roswell that even though he was not there and had this experience, that he knew these people, he knew their story, and it happened. They were not lying, and he was fulfilling the promise to these people that Roswell happened. Roswell happened. Astronaut. He wanted to make sure they knew that. Anyway, they treated him like he had dementia. It made the astronaut mad too. But anyway, there for your amusement. I'm just telling you that because it happened to hit my head.
Beth was, my understanding is she wanted us to follow.
Rendlesham, honey. R. Starts with the R.
Beth was wanting us to elaborate a little bit on the whole queen. The queen inside me says, time will go faster, slower. I will arrive at my appointment in plenty of time. And how does that work? And then she theorized that we're bending time. And I guess that's true in a certain way of thinking about it, but I think actually what we're doing is you're bending yourself, because everything depends on your perception. That's what quantum physics is all about. That's what they've learned in quantum physics, that the observer is the one that's determining reality. What they are observing changes, according to who is and how they're observing it. So when you get in touch with that part of you that's behind the third eye or coming through the third eye, however you do that, you are bending your own perception, which becomes your reality. I mean, that's the way I see it.
Okay, that's very helpful. Now, I looked up for you. You spell it like this. Just Google RENDLESHAM forest incident, or you could even look England's Roswell. You'll find it. It's all over the place. Happened in 1980. You can't see it. Sorry. RENDLESHAM forest incident. And you can do your research.
Did you ever get Shannon's sound recording of Bigfoot?
No, she did send it to me. I mean,
she said she did.
She did, but I don't save things. I can't save things. I can't.
But she said she sent it, just in the last few minutes.
Well, she didn't. She didn't. I mean, she did maybe, but I have not. As you see, I do not have it.
Okay. Beth also wants to know what you think about levitation.
Oh, I've done that before. I swear it happened. Shannon, if you're still on there, she's got school online. She probably left. She sent it, and I had it on here on my messenger that I would repost, but I don't have it. I don't know what happened to it.
Okay. Levitation.
Well, I saw something where some guy's supposed to be levitating. I mean, that guy was having some major butt spasms, evidently, because he's hopping all over the place. I ain't buying it. And I cannot sit here and say that I can levitate. Wait, watch this. Anyway, it happened. No, what happened was some people, I do think they transcend this physical realm through their power of their mind. And I think, some of the people that have done it, there's been people in history that have done that. Some monk actually did it in the Middle Ages. He went like flying through the air, the church and everything else. And I thought, wow, that is interesting. And, so people have done it randomly that are like in I want to say spiritual ecstasy kind of thing. All right. And so there are cases like that. And then of course the church as it is thinks that is an absolute sign of being possessed. And I'm sure it could be. And, so I think
possessed by what?
By otherworldly beings that do not have your best interests at heart, that would like to kick you out of your body and take over.
Oh, okay. That's not good.
No. So, but again, it can also happen like in spiritual ecstasy. And then again, it can happen just because you believe it can. You're getting the right phase of mind, and your energy is so vibrating so highly that I think your spirit kind of leaves your body a little bit and takes your body with it. Now, whenever I've done sessions, sometimes, in the past, and I told you went through that whole spell, and you proved this, Kim, where I used to grow. And I think what was happening was I was trying maybe to levitate them without realizing what was happening. And people that hung around me, including you, started doing the same thing. We used to measure each other. I mean, I'd be up to here, then she'd be up to. It was weird.
Yeah.
I could do it on purpose. It was like I could feel a sensation. I'd say, "Hey, Kim, watch this." Or, "Hey, James, watch this." I told y'all about this before. And James started to cry, literally, because it freaked him out. I mean, feel bad about myself. So I didn't do it anymore on purpose. Now I can't do it on purpose. But it happens. And recently, I was sitting in there in a chair, and I could feel that sensation. It's like a pulling sensation. And I thought, I feel like I'm levitating. And I didn't say nothing, I'm not stupid. So I'm not saying anything to this new client. I don't even know it was some girl. And then that girl says, you're going to think I'm crazy, but I swear it looks like you're levitating. And I thought, thank you. I think I am. And then that feeling went away and I settled down. And it was not on purpose. But see, stuff like that happened to me. Then I get to thinking, because of my religious upbringing, oh my God, what if I'm possessed and I don't know it? And that scared me to death. And I thought, no, my heart's right. And it's just something I've been given and I don't know why. There it is. And then it happened when we were walking in the woods one time. I started feeling that sensation. But I was doing a thing in front of all these people over at Grove Park with Josh Warren. And I started feeling that sensation. And one of the guys out there that was watching, client, wonderful guy, engineer. Actually, I think his wife's on here right now, engineer. And so he's like science-minded, right? And I said that randomly, like, I feel like I'm levitating, you know. Anyway, he says that he leaned over. And I remember seeing him lean over and wonder what the heck he's doing. And he said he could see space between my feet and the ground. And I had no idea. It was years later he told me that. And it freaked me out. But now if I want to sit here and say, hey, y'all, watch this, it ain't going to happen. That's the famous last words of a redneck. Hey, y'all, watch this.
Or hold my beer.
Yeah, hold my beer, right? But anyway, I don't know why that happens, except I think that, again, you're vibrating so high that your physical body is literally leaving the ground. It can happen through spiritual possession, and it can happen through spiritual ecstasy, but it can also happen through, you know, monk-like training, like the Buddhist kind of monk-like training people. And it can also happen randomly with people that are maybe doing a higher form of spiritual work, which on occasion, I actually hit that mark. Not every time, every now and then.
Karen, just anybody that's interested, was saying that Unsolved Mysteries, she's been on an Unsolved Mysteries watching binge for a while. They did some really cool stuff. But they did a really good segment that she's recommending on Rendlesham Forest, and I think all that's on YouTube. So that'd be
there's a lot of stuff on it, including these people that, oh my God, this one guy, he was in the, I don't know if it's the same incident or another one, this military man, and he actually went up, honey, this thing landed, went up and touched it, okay, got all weird about it, okay, weird stuff happened. Also, the military took everything he had away. But then, years later, he wrote in a notebook, maybe then, all these things he's writing in his notebook. 01, 00001, 11000, okay, all these ones and O's. Years later, he shows it to somebody, and oh yeah, that's computer code, which was not existing when he had his. This might be pre-Rendlesham. I don't know when it was. You'll look it up. But anyway, it had a message like continuation of humanity, study of humanity continues, or something like that. There was one or two words that didn't make sense. This is something he had written down in code, and he had it, and that's what it said. Yeah, wow. Look it up. I don't make this stuff up. I can't make this stuff up. I am weird, aren't I?
No, you're not.
That's what James will say to me.
You're weird in a good way.
James will come up to me and he'll say, I'm weird, aren't I, Angela? Yes.
Okay, another text that you sent me, you wanted to talk about ancestors.
What? Oh, yeah. The reason I was talking about that is people ask me all the time, does this stuff run in families the way I am? And yeah, it does, just like anything else. You know, you got some people that, you're a musician, your grandchild may be a musician. You got that gene, it runs in your family. Good at math, you got that, you know. And I think just like that, you know, my family's like this. Well, one of my cousins is big into genealogy, and he posted something, and it hit me, and it's upset me, to be honest, about a direct ancestor, Mary Barnes, and she was the last woman to be hung in Pennsylvania, I believe it was, as a witch.
That's your ancestor?
Direct ancestor, and it's made me mad because she's only 22, had 4 kids, and of course somebody's wanting her property is what it amounted to. But I think that they could use that witchcraft thing against her because she was probably like me. And I thought I was like everybody else, except I thought I was just really nervous and anxious, which I am, which psychic people are. But I think probably that was fine. You know, people didn't maybe want to bother with it until they wanted something she had. And then it just tore my nerves up. And I thought, yep. As soon as I read it, I thought, I told it, she's like me. She's like me. Guarantee it. She wasn't fully grounded in this world. Probably could see and know a few things. Like, you know, I was telling her earlier at the pharmacy when I first worked, actually when Joanne was telling me what was wrong with me, was I was this way. You know, I was getting in trouble left and right because I was seeing stuff, you know, like somebody came to buy something and I said, I wasn't in trouble, but I was scaring people a bit that way. And I said, oh, I see you. I said, by any chance y'all getting a puppy? I don't know why I just fell apart. She said, well, yes, we just went to get some stuff. We just got one. And another time this girl came in that was working there. And I said, what is wrong? You look like you've lost your best friend. And she looked at me. She says, I did just lose my best friend. And I said, I'm so sorry. Well, anyway, my other friend, she said, why did you say that to her? I said, it was obvious. It was obvious. She had lost her something that you could tell. She said, I've known that girl for years, and I saw her. She said, there was nothing that should have made you think that. Nothing. But see, to me, it was obvious. So I was scaring people. You scare people back in the 1600s right there at that period of time in that particular part of the country. Guess what happens, people? You get hung or burnt.
Yeah.
Anyway, it just tore me up. But it also made me think, yep, there it is. That's that gene, I guarantee it. And yeah, Beth says communicating with your ancestors, that's a big Asian thing. I have a lot of Asian clients who I love dearly. And I feel like that is a very intriguing thing that you can do. I always thought that be careful because, again, you got a lot of wayward energies that will lie to you and tell you all crazy stuff because they have a goal in life, and that is to get control of your body because they don't have one. And it will burn your body up, and it will put you in either a home or the graveyard or wherever if you're not real careful. So be careful.
Yeah, I think here in the West, we have really missed the boat with the ancestral thing because there's a lot to be learned there. And, medical science is even getting on board with that. This functional doctor that I know, that I go to, he even asks, do you know what kind of diet your ancestors ate? Because more than likely that's going to be what is going to suit your body.
That's interesting.
Because those kind of things get handed down and traumas get handed down. And I don't know. I think you got somebody that watches. Is it Pam that does somebody who does work with ancestral healing? I think is the best way to say. Anyway, there's a lot of stuff that comes down that ancestral line, and we tend to think that we're all just islands out here floating around, and we are so not.
I also believe that many of those ancestors that have passed over guide us, and I've got a story about that. If you got time, I don't know if you got time.
Yeah, go for it.
I think these people are sick of me by now.
No, they're not. That's why we're here, because we want to hear you.
I doubt it. But anyway, what time is it? Well, I'll try to be quick.
No, don't. It's fine.
And you can't be quick.
No, go for it.
I'll try to be quick. But I have said, and I've probably done talk. It's just sad. This increasing mental loss I've got, honestly, I'll tell you the same thing over and over. But a long time ago, I have always said that if, to people, I will say, oh, I feel your grandmother, your great-grandmother, somebody in you in spirit, and I know I'm right because I'm in the zone. A lot of times I'm just guessing. I'll tell you if I'm guessing. I don't ever try to fool nobody. But anyway, I feel somebody, and they say, oh, no, I never knew this particular ancestor. And I said, well, it doesn't matter. They knew you. And I would always say to this, like I have a grandson, and I love him. And if something happened to me and I'd want to help him. But I would also want to help his grandkids because he would love them. And if he loved them, that means I would love them too. So I would want to continue to help. So in other words, you don't have to know these ancestors that might be helping you. Okay. So I said that for years. Well, I thought this was kind of interesting one time because when my son was a little bitty kid, and he's like in his 30s now, he was sitting in a chair and just looking really cute. And I said to him, who made you be so cute? And I meant to say, what made you be so cute? And I don't know why I said who, but I did. And he said the mailman, which was hilarious. The mailman made him cute. He's like, no, it didn't, but it was funny. Okay, time goes on and all this stuff. And then this girl comes to see me one time, and she's actually pretty psychic. She says, I feel your grandfather with you. And I said, well, my, really, it's great. She says, I feel the name Henry, I believe. I said, oh, his name was Roy, but, thank you. I mean, I think that is a family name. That's nice, and I appreciate it. And then a little bit more time went on. Then Dylan said something. I said, my mind's gone. I forgot what he said about this. He made some remark about something about seeing somebody or whatever. I don't remember. See, my mind's going. But the thing is, all this genealogy and all this stuff started coming up, and I found out I had a grandpa. His name was Henry, and he delivered the mail.
Wow.
So I think, yeah, he's watching out for all of us. Dylan felt this woman, he never even met her but once, and that was at a dinner with a lot of other people on his grandfather's side. And he didn't, briefly met her, and she died, and he didn't even know anything about it, I don't think. And he was around talking one day, and he's saying, Margaret's watching out for me. Aunt Margaret. That's the only Margaret I know, that especially Aunt Margaret. And that was on, my ex-husband, his grandfather's side. And
Wow.
yeah, he didn't know. But I thought, well, that's pretty cool. I'm glad old Aunt Margaret's looking out for you.
Wow. Well, I hope you've seen these comments coming through when you were kind of down on yourself a couple minutes ago. Everybody's telling you that we love you and you're not boring.
They don't know better. Somebody says that to hypnosis release your bloodline. I think
Pam.
that's good. You know, if anybody wants me to hook you up with her, well, there she is. Do it yourself. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I do. I actually wonder about that lady. My sister I was talking about. I keep wondering. I know this sounds crazy, but I thought, was that me? Have I come back? Was that a previous incarnation of me? I know that's really going out there on a limb, but it did hit me like that, and it made me wonder. Anyway, I'm not going to talk about that no more because, whatever.
Okay, we got one more text that you sent if you want to go for it. You sent me a text that said aquarium filter.
Oh, my God.
Oh, that's your shopping list?
No, this is a good one. And this is a quick little story. This was weird. This happened today. I went to feed my fish. I have 2 goldfish, Fluffy and Bubbles, who I love dearly. They're fantails, beautiful fish. And as I was feeding old Bubbles and Fluffy, I started thinking I need to change their filter because, it's time. And then I was thinking, I didn't say anything out loud. I was thinking, oh, I bought that filter. Where'd I put it? Because I just bought one for it. And I'm thinking. I thought I'm going to have to go in there and go through every drawer I got because I have no idea, as usual, as is my custom, to lose it, okay? So aggravated, didn't say nothing out loud, though. Like I'm saying, I come in here in the kitchen to go to the sink, and that cabinet beneath the sink popped open, and it closes. It's got a latch. It popped open, hit my leg, not hard, but it popped open, and there was my aquarium filter had fallen out in the floor. Now, I am not making that up. And I thought, well, thank you. I appreciate that. But how did they know? And after that, I did. That is where I put it. I remember being in a hurry. And for some unknown reason, I put it under there. I think I had some puppy training pads under there. And I just stuck it under there. That totally forgot. I don't know. That was bizarre, people. Well, pay attention to whoever Nell is. That may be one of your ancestors, Judy. That is just saying, hey, I'm around. And again, helping you in ways that we are not going to consciously be aware of.
You have anything else you want to tell us, like a quickie reading for the group that might be plugged in?
Imagine good things. Maybe good things will happen. Try to keep yourself in the way that you wish other people would keep themselves, basically, and it might help balance some energy that's kind of going crazy right now. Treat others with the same love and respect you would want others to treat you, and maybe it can help bring about, as I said, a little bit better energy and a little bit better balance, and maybe a little more healing in the world. Never underestimate. Oh my God, it's so easy to whip people in a frenzy or to make bad stuff happen because, it's the caveman inside us. We needed to be aware of bad stuff or we would perish, right? But we got to remember that, maybe we have a little bit better result if we try to go from our love opposite fear side to maybe help some things to go well. You got a real good chance, Tanya. It's hard to get incumbent out, Tanya. You're doing good.
Hey, you got my vote, Tanya. All right.
Good luck to you, honey.
Okay. I have one just little kind of a practical thing I just wanted to share. Your cousin Deborah told me this, and I think it's a cool, simple thing.
Wait, Blanca, yes. No, I did not play that sound. Send it to my phone again. It did not come through. Okay, now go ahead.
Okay, I was just going to say, Deborah told me that if you ever are in a situation where you're very upset or you have an argument or anything like traumatic happens, you want to make sure that you get the clothing off of you as quick as you can and get that washed. Take a shower. In other words, you want to totally get that energy get that energy off of your physical body, because your clothing and your physical body will continue to have
memory.
Exactly.
Maybe that's why I need to move every 7 to 8 years, even though I don't really go very far. Maybe because there's so much accumulation of psychic dirt. Maybe that accumulates, which, you can do cleansing. You don't have to move, but it makes me wonder. But yeah, I think that is very good. It resonates with me when you say that.
Gosh, you guys are just so interesting.
Healing Stone. Kim gave me a Healing Stone last week, Joanne, and I got it in my pocketbook.
Luckily, she didn't eat it. She put it in her pocket.
I cut my hair. I've eaten it a couple of times. I see something small and round. It looks like chocolate. It's going down.
It's about that big, and she pulled it out and almost put it in her mouth.
Okay, here is the sound. If I can get it up here. Did you hear it? Where's this? Where do you speak on this thing? Did anybody hear that? It didn't sound as much like a baw as I thought it did, but that's how I remember
This
it.
is what Blanca recorded at her house about a half a mile from here that she's hearing at night, and they think it might be
This is Bigfoot. Well, where'd it go? There you go.
That sounds like almost like a gong or something. Maybe it's just that recording.
I don't know. I'm gonna save it, and then I'm going to. Well, you can post it. Post it on here.
Yeah, post it in the comments.
Post it on here in the comments if you can, and so people can hear it. That's very intriguing. It does sound. It ain't no way it's a coyote.
It's a coyote carrying a bunch of pots and pans.
No, I didn't hear that sound. I heard just you know. I don't know what that was. That's very cool. Very, very cool
You
indeed.
think there's such a thing as chupacabra?
I think there's all grades of stuff that we don't know nothing about, Kim, and I don't doubt it. I don't. I think
heard it.
there you go. I think that things may be going interdimensional and everything else. So,
Yeah.
and I've noticed, by the way, a lot of times when we're talking, and some other people said they saw it, and I never did know they was looking, but evidently there's a shadow behind us a lot of times under that table back there, and of course we're blocking it today. But I was happened to look back at one of the things we were doing, and I saw it, and I thought, oh my God, that's what they've been talking about. I think these things, in other words, are happening all the time, and we're just not aware of it. Then we start paying attention, and it'll tell them what y'all might see and feel. Female yelling at her husband, come home. You talking about me, Angie? It could be. Okay, go ahead now.
Okay. Well, I think that's about it.
Thank you all for joining up again today.
Yeah, and everybody who's in this area watching live, be careful out there, man. It's stormy. And
They
wet.
released school because the bridges are flooding and everything else, and it's raining again. So be careful and all that. And thank you so much. And that's it. I guess we're done. Here we go.
See y'all next time.
We try to hang up again in a timely fashion. And here we go. And here we go.